Alfred, am I pig-headed? Is it always my way or the highway? Well, yes, actually. Death and change stole your parents, so you have done everything in your power to control the fates. For what is Batman, if not an effort to master the chaos that sweeps our world, an attempt to control death itself? But I can't, can I? No, you can't. None of us can. I actually do think that the 4 Batman movies have an arc to Bruce's character. The Schumacher films are weaker in terms of the development, especially because all the other terrible things smash it down, but this is the final part of that journey. Like I said, the problem is not trust, it's that Bruce is unwilling to lose anyone he loves again. He's built a new family for himself with Alfred and Dick, but now Dick is reckless and putting himself in positions where he could be easily killed, and Alfred is dying from a disease. The two walk off, presumably to his bedroom, and Vicky makes the observation that the house and all the stuff in it don't seem like him. It's part of the character arc thing I described. The first movie establishes this Bruce Wayne as someone disconnected from his own life as Bruce Wayne. He doesn't eat in his own dining room, he didn't attend the announcement of Harvey Dent as DA, trouble sleeping, etc. It's fairly obvious stuff in this first installment, but as Knox would later say in the movie, what do you think seeing your parents murdered right in front of you does to a person? Fills one up with anger and makes you reject a regular life and all its trappings in favor of one you create, where some muggers who attack a helpless family won't get away with their crimes? Honestly, it's more surprising that Batman didn't murder those two at the beginning, given how this version of Batman is more willing to kill. Commissioner Gordon has the bat signal lit, and a scene from the movie isn't present. And that's a bit of a problem for me. See, as I've said, the big reason why I've been doing these annual looks at the Batman movie adaptations is because I think that there is a character arc for Bruce Wayne across all 4 movies. Batman Returns is pivotal to that, and it all starts with where we first see Bruce in this film. You'll recall that in the first Tim Burton Batman movie, Bruce finally did it. He found the man who killed his parents, the criminal who created him, in this case Jack Napier, and he got his revenge. The Joker was dead, and he had not only a grateful city, but a loving girlfriend by his side. And then we get the sequel, where the first time we see Bruce or Batman 13 minutes in, he's sitting alone in a dark room, just thinking. Not even in the Batcave, not with anybody. Just a lonely man sitting in the dark with nothing else to show for himself. Because killing the Joker, getting his revenge, it didn't solve anything. His parents were still dead, he was still traumatized, and still had the drive to be Batman. And according to another scene that was left out of the comic, he drove Vicky Vale away because he couldn't reconcile his dual nature. So good job leaving out half the character development, comic! No, she's talking about Batman. He says not to worry, that he has plans to turn the Batmobile into an explosive that'll kill him, but she thinks he'd just be a martyr, a symbol to rally around. No, to destroy Batman, we must first turn him into what he hates most, namely, us. So as I said earlier, the 3 villains are supposed to be dark mirrors of Batman. Shrek is the most obvious. He's a rich guy beloved by the city, but instead of using money and power to help people, he wants to exploit people. Catwoman is the dual personalities of the costumed character versus the person behind the mask, psychologically damaged and lashing out against wrongdoers, just more destructively. And the Penguin is a man who lost his parents, but instead of using that loss to fuel a desire to do right, he embraces his worst impulses and happily considers himself a freak, separated from humanity. So if we go by the idea that the villains are what he hates most, what Batman hates is himself. All the darker parts of his own nature that drove people away and leave him feeling empty. Then he's back at the cave, and Bruce is dressed up for nothing. Anyway, Dick wants to be part of the crime fighting. When I was beating on those punks, I imagined it was him I was fighting, and all the hurt went away. You understand? Too well. It's an addiction you fight night after night, trying to fill the emptiness. But the pain's back in the morning. Somewhere along the way, it stops being a choice. It's not a terrible change, but it's basically a condensed version of what the movie said, which was better. I can't show it all for content ID reasons, but the point is, This is the final part of the character arc analysis I've been doing for Bruce Wayne throughout these movie reviews.
But your pain doesn't die with Harvey, it grows. Until one terrible morning you wake up and realize that revenge has become your whole life.
In the first Tim Burton movie, Batman killed the Joker, avenging his parents' death, and in Batman Returns, the first time we see him, he sits alone in a dark room with nothing to say or do but wait for the bat signal to come on. He kills more people until he encounters a woman just like him, and he sees the first sign of redemption. Apparently some more deleted dialogue from Batman Forever would have made explicit references to how Batman has killed people too, and it's a shame that it was cut. Selina's quest for revenge only ended in her death, and it would likely have resulted in Bruce's own if he hadn't started to stop himself, because nothing has been achieved. Killing the Joker didn't magically make his parents alive again and restore all his youth. Sticking dynamite in a member of the Red Triangle Circus didn't undo his trauma or give him a new lease on life. All it did was end more people's lives. I like to use that line from the movie Camelot because it's utterly true.
Revenge, the most worthless of causes.
Revenge is not justice, and it's not peace of mind. Sure, it might help for a little while, but it doesn't solve his actual issues. And as I stated earlier, that is Bruce's arc in this movie. Choosing to be Batman, not because of a quest for revenge or out of guilt, but because he genuinely wants to do good and help people. And seeing Dick Grayson, consumed by as much murderous need for vengeance as he himself once had, he wants to stop him from going down the same self-destructive path he sees himself on. Two-Face apparently cannot tell when a big heavy weight has been released. Goodbye to that pointy-eared, steroid-eating, rubber-suited, cross-dressing night rat! Cross-dresser? Was there a movie in between this one and Returns where some very interesting things happened? Batman Forever, the last of the 90s Batman quadrilogy. Yes, I know that technically the term is tetralogy, but honestly, quadrilogy sounds better.